All right, this is going to be my presentation of our project GeneKnow. GeneKnow is a desktop application that analyzes your genomic data files, such as like FASTQ, MAV, VCF, etc., directly on your own computer to provide a secure cancer risk assessment. Nothing ever leaves the machine, it's all done locally, so that means it's all HIPAA compliant. The reason that we're doing this is that healthcare providers will receive genomic test results that take up several hundred gigabytes of space, but a lot of times they can actually get closer to a terabyte, which is absurd. Then these geneticists will then be overwhelmed with that crazy amounts of data that they can't really interpret quickly during the patient consultations. And because that these files are just so big and they take so long to process and analyze, patients will wait for weeks or sometimes a month for these results, which they can't really easily digest or understand what's going on. And then because this is such a computationally expensive and long process, there will often be some clinics that are just incapable of doing it because it requires expensive cloud-based solutions that it's just out of their price range. These are just many reasons as to why we built this. And then before diving into our demo, just kind of a quick word on what each project, each person has done so far. We have Natalie, who's been an absolutely amazing help because she worked in this field for several years, so she is super knowledgeable and has been able to help us out with any sort of question that we would come to her with, which has just been unbelievably helpful and has sped up our workflow. I mean, I would say at least 10 times. She also created the design for our LangGraph pipeline, which it is the backbone of our entire project. It's what actually makes our thing work. She also designed our DNA Helix logo, and she's also been in charge of making sure everything is production ready with our CI/CD infrastructure pipeline. It is making sure, especially because we're working in this group where we're all working on our different branches, we're all committing all the time, having something like that where she would, because it would consistently keep having issues because as 4 different developers, we are always going to be doing a lot of different things. So having someone that was constantly helping out with that, plus also answering all of her questions on this entire, for this entire demographic, has just been unbelievably helpful. Now, I was the one who implemented the LangGraph infrastructure. I handled the validation engine for file inputs, and it handles anything from FASTQ to MAF to VCF, like I mentioned earlier, and a few others. All of those that will be gzipped as well, because just again, absolutely insane file sizes. I also created a report generation system based off of the results in those files. Basically telling you how much of what percentage of which types of cancer you're going to be most at risk at by looking for specific markers that a person has in these files, and then calculating this is then based off of that marker you have, calculating what risk value people in that genetic marker have for that specific type of cancer. There isn't a whole lot of data that we're using currently because we're only comparing to a small amount select data just for the MVP purpose, but we're going to be expanding that in the future to make it way more accurate. Plus, one thing I also was working on is file size management, making it so that the processing for these files just don't take several weeks because we don't have that kind of time. So the biggest file I was currently testing was only 15 to 20 gigs. That was hosted locally on my own machine. I got it to work. It went through the processing stage in about 2 or 3 seconds. So I feel like that's a pretty good going forward. We'll be obviously trying to improve that as well. Yirin was our project manager and also worked on also did UI and UX development as well. She mapped out intuitive user flows and planned out feature scopes with really good precision because we're using every single thing that she's been suggesting so far. It's been super great and helpful. She created like a really good simplistic UI for patients, which is really great. And then Tristan was actually the one who made a much more detailed and comprehensive layout for the researchers who are going to be using this as well. because he also worked on the front end, and he took the really complicated genomic data that the back end would process and spit out in a report into giving it really good, like displaying it in a really great way to the researcher side of this project. So that's kind of what everyone has done so far. Just kind of going to be going through the project. One thing we're going to be doing is moving this disclaimer. Don't worry. That is obviously not great. We have a few different pages here for like, here's how it works. Then we have our feature list right here. And then obviously we're privacy first, like how explaining nothing ever leaves this machine. So now we'll just kind of go through to click this test now button. So here you can see you can browse your files and upload your own, or you can just look at some mock data here. So let's just kind of look at this David Kim guy. So we're just processing file, but so as you can see, he's really high risk. He's at 100%. And you can look at all these like different numbers that he's got and everything. But then again, so this is the patient view that was designed, and then we have our clinical view, which is going to be currently still in the works a little bit, but this will be like a much more thorough analysis for the researchers, so that way they can hopefully be able to talk to the patients in a much more comprehensive manner. So we can go back to the dashboard and we can run a new analysis. And what we can do is, so here I have some MAV files that I can just upload real quick. They're small just for the demo purposes, but this can handle much bigger. So here we can upload it, we can start our analysis, and we're processing the file. Boom, it's done. And as you can see, we'll be changing that as well. But we have our risk probability, our hazard score, what the highest risk cancer is, what the file analyzed was, and all that sort of stuff. So moving forward, what we want to do is obviously fix a lot of the UI, some of the UI issues that we're having. But we also want to expand the data that we're comparing it to, because as a result of that, the accuracy that we're having is far from optimal. But we'll be working on ways to incorporate as much data as possible while keeping size and constraint into account as well, because we can't just download the entire TCGA database, which is what we're using to compare all of our stuff to, and we're going to be using that to validate our system as well, because if our data and our results match the result of the TCGA database, then that would indicate that we're going along the right path. But yeah, going forward, those are some of our plans, and I mean, I think this is going to be something that's going to be a big help.